Okay? And the indigenes know. They know who is killing them. They know. These things have been said again and again.
Me and you both has blood on our hands. For every blood that is shed in that area, and we have not been able to speak up as much as possible, God will ask us, what did you do in the face of this? And I want you to think about that strongly.
Where were the international community when Nigerians were crying for, the kind of kangaroo judgment coming out of the Supreme Court, the Appeal Court, and the Tribunal? Yes, this is a sovereign nation, and no nations of the world can step into another sovereign nation to interfere with their internal affair. But then there were some certain endorsements that you will do that will necessitate those people to have much more power to do their bidding, their evil bidding. Now, just barely 6 months into power, where is the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu? In the midst of all the crisis, there was a blast in Kaduna. He couldn't find himself to find his way to Kaduna. Now we had a killing in Jos, Plateau State on Christmas Day, and the president is nowhere to be found. Now, some people are saying that the vice president went there and he took the message of the president to that place. No, nobody voted for the vice president. The president was voted for, and he said he was going to, to defend and protect lives and property in Nigeria. It was the president who swore the oath of office, not the vice president in this regards. So I wonder why some people are saying that it's not necessary. It is very necessary. When the president finds himself in such situation and then he brings himself down to the scene, it shows this level of compassion. It shows this level that he is part and parcel of what is happening. Then he takes necessary steps in order to resolve all this situation. But on a ground where every now and then we have the vice president always, that was what we had for the past 8 years of Muhammadu Buhari, who is not always aware of what is happening in Nigeria. Now the international communities are now saying they massacred in Nigeria. If they actually care about the citizens of Nigeria and they don't want this massacre to continue, the killings of Christians or Muslims in Nigeria to continue, then they need to place some sanction on some of these politicians who continue running away from this country instead of prosecuting. Now, we saw this young man, the picture you're seeing here, who was holding a matches after the death of Deborah in Sokoto State. We saw what happened. Has he been arrested? In fact, we had a report that he is not a Nigerian. It doesn't make any sense at all. And until we start arresting those perpetrating this evil and bringing them to book, we will not be able to come out of this crisis. Now, here is what Rufai said about the killing in Plateau State regarding to a response or an interview granted to a former general who was in that particular platoon, when he was trying to dodge some of the questions.
Okay, you said you met with the people sometimes, you had conversations with them.
Yeah.
Why did the things you do, why did some of them work and did some not work? I want you to answer that. But I'd like to tell you this, General, I see it's been a struggle for you to shoot straight. But let me tell you, maybe this will sink in. Me and you both has blood on our hands. For every blood that is shed in that area, and we have not been able to speak up as much as possible, God will ask us, what did you do in the face of this? And I want you to think about that strongly.
And that this man has been so careful. Nobody wants to die for this country right now. That's the honest truth, because we have had so many people who have tried to liberate this country in one way or the other, but they died in the process. People like Fela, among many other people. But have the country changed? No, it gets worsened every day. So nobody wants to actually die for the country, where people are not even serious about taking the country with their two hands, out of the hands of these bandits called politicians. So you look at the way he was trying to answer some of those questions, but there is something that struck me, is the fact that he has already nailed it, that this thing is being orchestrated by politicians. politicians, some traditional rulers, and some statesmen from these particular states. And we have been saying this thing time to time. Nobody will come forth to mention names. The politicians, the governor, imagine that the governor lost over 100 people, but he couldn't go to the village to sympathize with those that lost their life and see what can be done. He rather flew to Lagos, before the vice president was coming, and then he flew back, and before they went to the village. It doesn't make any sense. So he himself is even afraid of that particular place. I think the best thing to do is, see how you have to negotiate with the both parties. Now, this is it. Who are the original occupant of this place? According to the army general, who is the original occupant of this place? You don't expect somebody to just come out from nowhere and then come and grab land in your village just like that. No, it doesn't work like that, and nobody will allow that. But if they say we won't sell lands to you, you have no rights, to come and start fighting them. And that is where the government need to come in and try to settle this thing amicably. Anyway, hear what the general said, and then let's have your thought at the comment section what you think about this whole crisis and the behavior of the government towards the insecurity, persistent insecurity. Before now, we have it only in the northeast, which was just mainly Boko Haram, but now it has cut across the country. When we talk about farmers headers clashes, this is not a farmers headers clashes. This is a terrorist attack. This is an attack on the community. Was there any dispute between these people? No. If there was, maybe it would have been some months, some years ago. Then all of a sudden during Christmas they wake up, they attack the village, and they run away, and the government knows what is going on. So what do you think? Let's have your thought at the comment section. Thank you.
Dr. Abati, we know the enemy.
No, I have
Now,
no idea.
we hear things like headers farmers clashes on the plateau and some other part of the north central of Nigeria. We hear things like must not be left to continue. Things have been driven out, and some of the places, even the names of the villages have been changed. So there is no secret about these things. They know. And so, it doesn't need to come out of my mouth before